guys, Tony here, and I'm really excited to share with you my second home theater setup, which I use pretty much every day. I've already done 2 videos on it, which I will link in the cards up above, which have the build process. However, in this video, I'm going to reveal the final result now that it's finally completed. You might be wondering why I built a second home theater if I already have one, but rather than waste time explaining now, stick around to the end and I'll give you a full breakdown as to why. But for now, I'm going to showcase the room itself, discuss the gear choices with some demos of the room in action, and then reveal the total cost of the build. So if that's something that you'd like to see, give the video a thumbs up and let's get into it. To give a quick breakdown of the room, this space was originally designed to be the upstairs living room with a TV as a breakout area for the kids if they wanted to chill out. As the room wasn't getting a lot of use, when I started YouTube, I decided to use it to do ultra short throw projector reviews, and then eventually it morphed into daily use for me in the evenings to relax, so I decided to turn it into an actual home theater. It's not closed off on all sides and definitely has some problems to contend with, such as doorways in the locations where speakers should be, as well as not being able to do a huge amount to block the light coming in through the shutters. But I was able to work around these issues with the design of the speaker layout and choose speakers that would help me get a pretty awesome result when it comes to both the audio and visual. So the room dimensions are 2.7 meters high by 4.5 meters wide and 6.4 meters deep, and the seats are approximately 4 meters from the screen, which gives a really nice viewing angle. Having these dimensions allowed me to get everything lined up pretty well without too much compromise, but where I was limited was the side and rear surrounds due to the doorways and the linen closet at the back, but I will get to that a little later. To help with the visual experience, I installed a slat panel wall behind the screen, which is painted in Taubman's Black Fox, which is a matte black paint and helps with both light control in the room, but also makes the screen pop off the wall like it's floating in the dark. This was a bit of work to install, so if you'd like to see the whole process of building out this room, you can check the cards up above for the playlist of the construction process. The total cost of this wall was around 1,000 Australian dollars. I also used LifeX strips behind the screen, which add a glow around the edge without detracting from the image, as the light doesn't spill onto the screen, being that it's behind it. I also went with LifeX for the overhead lighting using GU10 downlight bulbs, which sit inside some light fittings which I bought from Beacon Lighting, and also a lamp with a LifeX bulb so that I can create a home theater vibe with the lighting and use automation controls through Home Assistant to create scenes. This was especially helpful when having the lights come on when you hit pause and then dimming the lights down when you hit play for that seamless movie watching experience. I also have a Govee Lyra lamp in the corner and a Govee Starlight projector, which does look very cool when relaxing in the room. There are a whole bunch of slides you can install in the projector and change the effects and animations. I will have links to all the lighting down in the description, but total cost for the lighting in this room was around $1,000. To fix some of the light bleed coming in during the day, I was able to install a large roller blind which cuts down on the ambient light significantly, as well as some pre-cut acoustic pinboard which I can slot in front of the shutters. Total cost for everything was about $400. For seating, I have 2 single-seat Valencia Theatre Seating Grand Barcelona Ultimates, which are my favourite chair that Valencia make, and I've owned quite a few of the different models. What I especially like about these chairs is that they are big and heavy, so you can sit in a number of different ways to get comfortable, such as reclining, or even sitting upright, or with your legs up, which is how I like to sit, as that keeps me wide awake during movie time, but still super comfortable. I think possibly the best feature of these chairs is that the headrest fully reclines down, so it doesn't block the audio coming from the rear surround speakers, which really does make a difference. Finished in 20,000 grade Italian Napa leather, these chairs are the crowning piece of the puzzle with this room, and seating is often overlooked in the home theater journey, but when you think about it, that's where you're most of the time when you're in your room, so it's totally worth investing in good seating to help with the experience. These chairs are so heavy and solid that I had to get movers to come and help me, as they weigh over 90 kilograms. So they are built to last, and if I ever build a new home theater in a bigger space, I will be filling it up with these chairs. I'd like to thank Valencia for working with me over the last 4 years of doing YouTube, as their support has really helped me to grow the channel. And as a dealer here in Australia, if you're interested in finding out more, send me an email and I'll see how I can help you out. The total cost for these chairs is around $7,500. I will have a full and in-depth review of these Grand Barcelonas coming soon, so make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss that video. When it came to picking a projector to use, I went with the XGIMI Horizon Ultra, which is a very underrated projector based from some of the other reviews I've seen complaining about contrast. You can watch my review up here, but this projector is an awesome projector with a dual laser and LED light engine, and it also supports Dolby Vision, which is great because most movies and TV shows now come with color grading in Dolby Vision. After calibration with a sensor, I found the contrast levels to be more than good. However, I will agree that out of the box presets do crush the black levels a little. My calibration worked best when I lowered the iris down to 4 and I manually corrected the grayscale and the colors. While not 100% accurate, I got them pretty close, and as you can see from the demos, the image is just unbelievable. I will have links down in the description to this projector, but I went with this one over all of the other ones that I've tested and reviewed because I found it to be the best balance of brightness and contrast, color accuracy, but also was nice and small, lightweight footprint in the room, which ticked the wife acceptance factor, as well as the finish in cream and gold. For the price, it's super hard to look past this projector. I do have a JVC native 4K projector in my main room, and while it obviously does better black levels, this XGIMI has it beat for brightness. The XGIMI Horizon Ultra retails for about $3,500. The screen I went with comes from a company in Switzerland called Premium Screen, and I did a review on it as well. It's an ambient light rejection screen for long throw projectors, and it does a great job at blocking a lot of the ambient light that I do get in the room at times. Not too much to say here about it, but I will leave a card up above to the full review I did on it. It's easily the best screen that I've used in this space for blocking ambient light for a long throw projector, and it still produces a very bright image, especially as the XGIMI has a good amount of brightness. It's a 120-inch 16:9 screen and fills up my wall, so I don't think that I could have gone any bigger than I have unless I wanted to go scope, but as I watch a lot of TV shows, I needed the 16:9 aspect ratio. This setup is excellent for watching movies as well, but if I want to watch the latest blockbuster, I would head down to my dedicated room instead, most of the time. The screen retails for around $1,500. I like this room because it's more open and the family can come and join me, and I don't feel as closed off to the world. I watch a lot more TV than I do movies, and as streaming now has so many 4K Dolby Vision releases, I really enjoy watching them on this screen with the native Dolby Vision. It's awesome with this projector. When it came to speakers, there was only one choice, and that was Krix. I only found out about Krix about 4 years ago, and after buying my first set of speakers for my dedicated room, which were the MX-10s, it kicked off a speaker obsession, and I now own over 50 Krix speakers throughout my home. So of course, when it came to building out this space, there was no other choice. Now initially the mandate for this room was to spend no money, but that didn't take long before it went completely out the window. I actually bought a set of discontinued triptych speakers, and they were going to be for a 5.1 setup, but as anyone that goes into this hobby knows, nothing stays that way for long. While the triptychs are a great speaker, I just wanted something a little bit beefier in the setup than I had originally planned, which meant I had to buy more speakers. Damn shame. After a few conversations with my good friend Michael from Krix, I ended up buying a whole brand new set of speakers, and I couldn't be happier with the results. For the main left and right speakers, I went with the Krix Harmonix Mark II. These are a 3-way speaker which are really great for music, and as we know, if it's good for music, it will be good for movies as well. These harmonics are finished in a black wood grain with two 6.5-inch low frequency drivers, a single 5-inch mid bass driver, and a 1-inch tweeter. I picked these up because I really wanted to bi-amp them, which became an obsession that I will discuss later in the video, but they produce an incredible sound and provide a rich and full experience. They are not a small speaker by any means, but they sound a lot bigger than they look. I have them towed in to aim towards the seat. The Harmonix Mark II retails at $31.95 for the pair. To match the Harmonix Mark II is a tank of a center speaker, being the Vortex Mark II. This speaker is also able to be bi-amped, and going from a much smaller center that was there before, this one is a powerhouse of a center, delivering incredible vocals and filling in that front soundstage really well. The drivers and the cabinet are designed to complement the Harmonix Mark II, and it retails for around $1,545. For my rear surrounds, I ordered a set of Phoenix Mark II, which retail at $21.95 for the pair. I went with these instead of the Harmonix for the rear because the drivers are at the top of the cabinet, which means that they won't be obstructed by the chairs and can hit the ear level without obstruction. The Harmonix Mark II have the drivers down the bottom, otherwise I would have gone with them for the rear surrounds as well. I had to go with towers because I couldn't screw on-wall speakers at the back due to my son's bedroom door and also the linen closet doors. So I needed something that could be easily seen and solid that wouldn't be knocked over. These ones are not bi-amped as they are a two-way speaker, but they have a similar sound signature so panning shots sound consistent throughout the setup. Now, to solve the surround issue, I went with the same speaker as I did for my dedicated room, and that is the Krix Hyperphonics 45. These retail for $28.95 for the pair, and the best part about these speakers is that they are designed to allow for any position and alignment. The brand new bracket that they come with allows you to angle them not just at the 45 degrees, but any degree needed to hit the angles required for the setup. I had to place my chairs behind the side surround slightly, so I had no choice, unless I wanted to put the chairs 1 meter from the screen. But having this specific bracket allowed me to angle them toward the seat really easily, and it sounds like it's coming from the side, especially after calibration. These speakers are probably overkill for this size space, but I didn't care, I wanted them so I got them and I don't regret it. For the subwoofers, I went with two Krix Seismix 3 Mark VII, which really do punch above their weight. The amount of air these subs move is insane for their size, and they make far more bass than you would expect. Retailing at $13.95 each, they have an 11-inch driver and are front ported. Having two at the front, I have no issues at all with nulls. There is so much bass in the seated position that I actually have to tune them down a little so that I can watch at night without disturbing the family, but definitely one of the happy surprises from the setup. For the overhead speakers, I have four IC50, which are positioned at the perfect angles for Atmos. Not too much to say about them other than they sound great, work great, and hide away in the ceiling, big enough to give a consistent sound with the rest of the speakers in the setup. They retail at $575 each, and I purchased all the speakers through my good friend Mick Stallone from Sydney Hi-Fi Monovale, and I will have links to them down in the description, so do check them out if you're interested. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I was able to buy out my main speakers and my center channel speaker. To achieve this, I hunted down a Yamaha MX-A5000 11-channel amplifier from Marketplace for $2,000 cash. This was a borderline obsession for me to find one because they are discontinued from sale, but I had it in my head that I wanted one. They reviewed really well, powerful, and would have enough channels for me to bi-amp and also power the surround speakers, leaving the overhead speakers to the receiver. Part of the reason I wanted this amp is because I chose the Yamaha RX-A8A receiver, which is the flagship from Yamaha, and while it's powerful enough to do all of my speakers, I wanted to bi-amp the mains, and being that it was a Yamaha, I wanted this amp to match. I'm not sure if anyone else is like me, but once I get an idea in my head, I have to see it through. The Yamaha A8 receiver retails for about $6,000. The combination of the A8 and the MX-A5000 has turned out so well for this setup. I love the sound, the look of the amp and the receiver in my setup, and the extra power that the speakers get is definitely noticeable. I'm no audiophile, but there is an extra fullness to the sound now that was not there when I was testing the setup with the bridge plate still attached. So while some people may think it's unnecessary, realistically the whole hobby is unnecessary. So if you have the means and the desire, I say why not give it a go. I have a 12-volt trigger plugged from the amp into the receiver so that when I turn on my projector, it triggers the receiver, which triggers the amp. So it's literally a one button press to turn the setup on and off. I also use the Zidu Z9X Pro movie player for all of my disc rips. I have reviewed the Zidu players on my channel and it was a no-brainer for me to go with the new Z9X Pro, and it hooks into my movie library on my NAS through the network so I can share the collection with all of the setups in my house. The Z9X Pro retails for around $500. I also use the Apple TV most of the time for streaming my TV shows through all of the various streaming services out there. Again, not much to say about it. Apple haven't updated the 4K model in a few years and it works well enough as it is. I think it cost me around $250. I also have a new Xbox Series X in the setup, which my kids use to play online games with their friends like Fortnite. I have a little charging station set up in the corner for their controllers, which makes it nice and easy for them to use the setup when it's free. There is nothing quite like gaming on a 120-inch screen with a fully immersive 7.2.4 speaker setup, and the Xbox Series X really takes advantage of the setup. I got it on sale at JB Hi-Fi for about $800 with the extra controllers and charging station. So guys, this setup has turned out way better than I ever thought it would. Considering that it was just supposed to be a 5.1 setup with an ultra short throw projector, it's ended up being a fully fledged home theater. And while it's not perfect, I worked with the constraints of the room to build out what I find to be a very enjoyable and immersive setup. I have been able to mix the best of both worlds by having a casual space when it needs to be, but with the performance of a dedicated room. The total cost of the build and equipment was roughly $39,370, plus the additional costs with the electricians and the other bits and pieces in the room that I may have forgotten about. We can round it up to about $40,000. Why not let me know what you think down in the comment section, and if you enjoyed the video and found it helpful, why not give it a thumbs up. Thanks to everyone involved for helping me get the room completed. My good friend Michael from Krix, Mick from Sydney Hi-Fi Monavale, Valencia Home Theatre Seating, and of course my wife for supporting me during the build. I'd also like to thank you all for watching. It's been a struggle of late to get videos made due to life being so hectic, and making YouTube videos now really only being a hobby for me. So the best way that you can show your support is by hitting that like button, sharing the video with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. I would really appreciate it. I will have a full review coming on the Grand Barcelona chairs, and if you're interested as well, I do have a full review on the Krix LX7 linear LCR, which I'm calling the world's biggest soundbar, so stay tuned for that one. But that's it for this one. You'll catch me in the next one. Bye for now.